You're listening to Corey and Dolly with 2 Hour Scouts with special guest Larry Mainland.
Hi, folks.
I know that sound.
Yeah.
Yes, as you can tell, I was a walker on The Walking Dead.
You still
Either
look
that
great.
or I have a very bad sore throat or something. Trying to clear my throat here.
You need some Nyquil or something there, Larry.
Yes, yes. I need a,
Or some
what do you
chocolate
call
wine.
Oh,
Hey.
that's even better. I was thinking breath mints, but I'll take the wine. Oh, Girl Scout mint cookies, thin mints are good too.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I got some in the cabinet. I may have to go get that.
There
I
you
love
Uh,
go.
thin mints.
Larry, why don't you tell us a little bit about your son, Jared?
well, Jared is a unique individual. He was a normal, rambunctious kid up to around 7 years old. And in September of 2007, he started having headaches and vomiting that came out of nowhere. And yet, we tell him to lay down and we give him something for it. And he'd lay down and everything. 30 minutes later, he's up and he's about and having a good time and everything's fine. This went on for about 3 weeks. And we did not know at the time that it was getting progressively worse because the school wasn't calling us and letting us know that he was complaining of a headache or having an accident or throwing up or whatever the case may be. They just would have him go lay down at the nurse's office and he'd feel a little better in about 30 minutes and everything was fine. Well, one week I was leaving to go to a convention for work um, at that point and was going down to Orlando, Florida. I drove down on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday, Jared started having headaches, and Rhonda took him to. She'd already taken him to the primary care physician, and they thought he was having sinus infections because he just recently had a sinus infection. They said it was still lingering, and it give him some medicine, and da da da. He'll be okay. So we were thinking that. So on Wednesday, he was having headaches and throwing up again. So Rhonda took him to the emergency care center for the local children's hospital. They have a satellite thing over where we live. And I took him over there, and the woman looked him over, and she said, I think what you have here is a case of childhood migraines. I want you to keep a diary, da 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 da. She says, now why she said this next thing, we don't know. But she says, it's not like people think the worst cases, like it's a brain tumor or something like that. She says, it almost never is. Don't worry about it. I'm sure it's childhood migraines. Well, this was on Wednesday. On Friday, we did not know, but he had 2 episodes at school that they didn't tell us about. We found that out later. Saturday, Saturday, he got so sick that he looked like he was drunk. He complained of a headache. My wife gave him 2 ibuprofen for his headache, and he promptly gave them back to her all the way across the room.
Oh no. Oh wow.
And he turned around and walked up the steps like he was drunk as a skunk. And she said, that's it. She had just taken our poodle to go get a clip, and that morning, and they had just called to say it was time to pick him up, to pick her up, and when all this came about. So Ron was like, oh my gosh, I got to get him something. This is ridiculous. We can't keep going on like this. So she's going to take him to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, which is the main hospital, and go find out what the devil's going on. So she went up there, and first she went and got the poodle, took it by to have somebody take a look, hold on to the poodle for her, and took Jared. At that point, Jared felt fine, no problems. We get over to, they get over to the emergency room, and he's feeling great. And the nurse, was going to do triage, wanted to know what was wrong. He says, I had a headache, Mom's make me come up here. you know,
Mm.
that kind of thing. And she proceeded to explain to him. She says, look, she says, you may think I'm a crazy mom. She says, but here's what he's been doing, and I don't know what's going on. And if it turns out to be nothing, I'll wear this huge button on my chest that says crazy overreactive mom. She says, but something is wrong with him that nobody has figured out, and we want you to figure it out. This was to the doctor, excuse me, is the way it was told to me. The doctor said, okay, I understand. She says, it's my opinion that parents know their children better than we do.
Mhm.
And what do you say we do a CT scan and do a couple other tests and, see what's going on. So in the meantime, she had called me on the way to the emergency room. She called me in Orlando and said, pack your bags and come home. I'm taking Jared to the emergency room right now. Something's wrong. I don't know what it is, and I want you here now. Well, now it's 465 miles away.
Oh,
Okay, I'm not flying, I'm driving. And I have somebody with me I picked up in Valdosta, so I got to drop them off before I go,
right.
before I keep going. So we pack our bags or whatever, and I'm starting to head home. And I'm north of Orlando in pouring down rain. And I get a phone call from her, and she's all in tears. And she says, are you driving? I said, yes. She says, pull over. I said, why? She said, pull over. Well, what I didn't know is that they come out to her. By then, her mother had come there, and they wanted to know if her mother could take care of Jared while they talked to her, talked to Rhonda. And so they asked Rhonda if she would step back. And when we went through the door, there was a chaplain there. And Rhonda's a nurse, so she knows this little procedure that they go through. And with the chaplain there, she said her knees got weak.
Bless her heart.
But because up to this point, she just felt it was a severe sinus infection. And although it might require surgery or something like that, it wasn't no big deal, that kind of thing. But when she saw the chaplain, she got scared. So they went back into her room and they said it's a brain tumor.
Mm.
And they said the CT scan shows a 4 centimeter mass at the back of his brain. Well, I'll speed you up now, get you to that point. When she cried, told me on the side of the road, she says, it's a brain tumor. I threw that sucker in gear and I floored it.
I bet. Wow.
And I made it as fast as I could. Needless to say, I still didn't get there until about 6:30 the next morning. But bottom line, he had a medulloblastoma, which is a tumor that sits at the back of the brain, just above the brainstem, normally. And what happened was it was pressing up. It had grown enough. It was pressing up against the ventricles, which, for lack of a better word, is the tubes of which the brain spinal fluid is controlled in going to the brain to the spine. All right, it would cut off the fourth ventricle and allow the brain fluid to build up in his brain. Well, that'd give him a headache, and it would make him nauseous.
Yeah.
Well, he'd throw up. That wouldn't necessarily get rid of the headache, but we'd have him lay down every time when he had a bad headache, and he'd just thrown up, that kind of thing. When he laid down, the tumor would recede back away from the ventricles and allow the brain fluid to equalize. Thus, the headache would go away. So anyhow, we find out this is on Saturday. I get there Sunday morning about 6:30. We head him back to get a tube put in his brain to let the fluid out and to equalize the fluid, by them instead of worrying about a tumor. And then we found out all the different things that we got to know and do, and we're sitting there like deer in the headlights, have no idea what's going on. And so he was operated on the following Tuesday. The tumor was actually on top of his brainstem,
Wow.
and had just attached itself to the brainstem, but had not gone into it. It was just on it, right at the top. Well, surgery was supposed to be about 5 hours, and he took like 2 to 3 hours more, and we were concerned of what in the world was taking so much longer. While he was sitting there with an electron microscope picking cell by cell off of
Oh
the
man.
brainstem. And he made sure that he got every single cell that was on the brainstem. And a medulloblastoma, think of a puffball. Do you know what a dandelion puffball looks like?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A medulloblastoma is kind of like that puffball. The brain, the cancer cells can release from the tumor itself and float around in the brain in the spinal fluid. And the spinal fluid, of course, coats your entire brain and goes all the way down your spine. Well, the first thing you got to do in this situation is it's a common tumor, one of the most common tumors, and thank God it's something I know a lot about. It's also one of the nastiest tumors because if it has flaked out, if you waited too long to get it and it has puffed out, like a puffball, then those little cancer cells are floating all over. It could be anywhere in the spine, anywhere in the brain, not just where it started off at. So even though he got all the tumor, now we got to go through 30 days of radiation to the spine and the full brain. You're going the full brain, the full spine, and centered on where the original tumor was at. So you're getting radiation on all that. And you're doing 30 doses of it, one a day for 5 days, which basically is 6 weeks. So you're
Wow.
doing that. You're doing that first. In the meantime, in the middle of all that, you're also starting chemo, and there was 54 weeks of chemo
Wow.
that got progressively stronger and stronger and stronger. In the middle of all that, you're getting spinal taps to see if it's still clear and they don't find any cancer cells in the spinal fluid. So they're periodically checking to see if they do. Well, luckily, he has never checked positive for any of those, and it's been long enough now. He's going on 8 years. He's never shown in spinal fluid or any of the other tests or anything, any growth back or anything else.
Oh, that's
Now,
wonderful.
there's another child that was the month before him that we met there at the hospital that was very active, same age as Jared. He was diagnosed in August, Jared was diagnosed in September. The kid was very active in sports. Jared was not active in sports, although he played t-ball, he didn't like it a whole lot. But the other kid loved football, loved soccer, loved baseball, the whole bit. He and Jared were doing one-on-one, same thing. In the beginning, you're getting an MRI to see what's going on roughly every month. And you're doing that all through your treatment of chemo, radiation, everything. You're getting it every month, okay? Then once you're off treatment, that'll progress. If everything looks okay, they'll progress to 3 months. And after a year or so, it's 6 months. And after another couple of years, you'll get to go to a year where you only have to go down once a year. The child that was just before Jared, he finished his treatments in December. Jared finished his treatments in January. And I believe it was February or March when he went in for his checkup, and suddenly out of the blue there were 6 tumors,
Oh no.
all on his spine. And he'd already gone back to playing ball and just being active, normal. Everything was normal.
Poor
Everything was
child.
great. And he passed away.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Took about 6 months. And so, of course, all that was done the month before Jared was due for his. So seeing that went from, and no symptoms at all, just boom, here's 6 tumors. That scared us to death.
I bet it did. Oh my goodness.
And to run back to when Jared came out of his surgery, um, less than 5% of patients that go through the surgery that he went through, less than 5% have what's known as posterior fossa syndrome. Less than 3% have what's known as cerebral mutism. Now, those are nice big fancy words. What does that mean? Well, in a nutshell, you put those two together. Jared had both of them. He came out of surgery. He could not speak. He could not swallow. His eyes would not close all the way. They kind of froze open. His face was basically frozen. His mouth would not close. He couldn't close his lips. The right side of his face was pretty much paralyzed. The whole thing looked like palsy, Bell palsy. But even today, the right side of his face, he doesn't have control of it very well. And he was paralyzed on the left side. Now, the eyes were the result. The eyes and the speech and swallowing was pretty much the result of the cerebral mutism. The posterior fossa syndrome had to do with the swallowing, I think, and the overall processing of information. His speech, when he did regain it many weeks later, is halting. It takes a little extra time for it to go from the brain to the mouth and out. So he talks at Blue Street, but it's a little slow and a little halting. I can't even shut up now.
Good for him.
Typical teenager. There is associated with this treatment that he went through, a lot of kids lose their hearing. Well, in Jared's case, it dropped down to where he has lost his high-pitch hearing, but his normal speaking hearing, of hearing conversation and that kind of stuff is okay. Certain pitches that he has trouble with. But he's at the borderline of needing hearing aids, but he has stayed right at the borderline. So we've never gotten him hearing aids. Never needed them. I mean, he's right there. If it drops, a millimeter, if it drops just a hair more, but it never has. It steadily dropped till it got to the borderline and then it stopped. So his hearing's okay, except now he's a teenager and it's very selective. You whisper something about him, he says, "What are you talking about me? What did you say about me?" But, you have no problem with that. He'll hear you if you whisper, but if you say, "Hey, Jerry, it's time to go to bed," he did not hear you.
Of course not.
It's time to eat. Wash your hands. Can't hear it at all. You can holler on top of your lungs, he can't hear it. But all in all, it's been trying to get him to walk again, trying to get him to talk again, getting him to eat. Now he eats like a horse.
Oh, good.
He's got 2 hollow legs. The whole time he was in chemo, our battle was to keep his weight up. And because you can literally lose a lot of weight on chemo. And go ahead.
I remember when he was going through the chemo that you and Rhonda both shaved your heads for him.
We've done that. Well, she's done it twice. When he was losing his hair, the story there went, he was in-house rehab, which is a place called CIRU, but where they're trying to treat you and also get you, in rehab like 6 hours a day, and you're living there. So at that point, the radiation started making his hair fall out. Well, he couldn't close his eyes, so we were in a rush to get his head shaved. We didn't wait for it to fall out because it would fall out into his eyes.
Right.
And since he couldn't close his eyes, he had no control over it. So we got one of the people there that, great big burly biker looking type guy, okay? Huge. He's an occupational therapist, and dang if he didn't used to be a hairdresser.
Really?
Really, before he became an occupational therapist, he was a hairdresser. And he said, I can bring my tools in and shave his hair off. And shave his head, I said, okay. Well, at that point, Jerry couldn't talk to us. The closest we'd gotten to being able to talk was a thumbs up. And we told him we were going to have to get his head shaved when he started crying. He could cry and he could laugh. That's the only two things he could do. And so he started crying. I said, look, if you shave your head, I'll shave my head. And if you want to see something funny, you ought to see me with my head shaved. Well, he laughed, and he thought that was okay. He nodded what little he could nod. He nodded okay, gave me a thumbs up and all that. But then when the guy came in to shave his head, Jerry got upset again. And so he cried and all that kind of stuff, but we had to go ahead and do it anyway.
Right.
But he was crying, and he was making a big deal about it. And even though he couldn't move his left side, his right side was moving like crazy. We were trying to keep his hand down away from his hair, and he was really upset. And so we got his head shaved, and the guy that did it said, I got to get back to work. He says, this took a lot longer than I thought. I don't have time to shave yours. I said, that's okay. I'll get mine shaved, this weekend when Rhonda comes in. And so that was the game plan. And so Jerry just had to deal with it. But that weekend I shaved my head. And so when he came out, and we could talk and all that kind of stuff, the chemo made him start losing his hair again. So we went down to the barber shop, and they shaved his head, and then I sat down and they shaved my head. So he got bald 4 times during treatment.
Oh, wow.
All 4 times I got my head shaved too. And so we both were bald 4 times. Now, we teased Rhonda. There's a thing called St. Baldrick's, where you raise money for Kids with Cancer. And it's a place to get your head shaved if you raise a certain amount of money.
Right.
Well, Rhonda did it one year, and it was wintertime, I think. And she wanted to know if I was going to do it. I said, I know, I've already done it 2 many times. I said, the last one I had was in winter, and I'm not doing that again in wintertime. And I said, you go ahead and do it. Jerry and I have done our part. You do it. So she did. She raised about $500, I think. And so she got her head shaved. And we thought that was cool.
That was very cool.
It really was. The next year, she was going to have her head shaved again. And I said, well, I'll do it too. And we'll both do it. I said, Jared, you going to get your head shaved? He said, huh? I said, well, how about if you can raise enough money, get your head shaved. And I said, how about if you raise $500, will you shave your head? He says, yeah. I said, okay. Well, you know me. I've got my fan page out there. So I put the challenge. I told him what I was doing. I said, now, if we can get Jerry to shave his head, if we can raise $500 for St. Baldrick's, we can get Jerry to shave his head again, then all 3 of us will have to be bald-headed for St. Baldrick's. One of my fans from St. Louis, Illinois, I mean, it wasn't even 5 minutes. He placed $500
Oh, man.
on Jared. And his only comment was, Jared, get ready. And he did. He followed through on it. Jared goes, dang, I should have asked for 1,000.
He probably would have got it too.
Oh, yeah, he would have.
No, believe it or not, he did. But we kept it up. And we kept taking pledges. And he ended up with $850, I think, in pledges. He beat both of Rhonda and I. And he ended up with $850, I think, in pledges to get his head shaved.
Wow.
We all got our head shaved, and that was kind of funny. So Rhonda's done it twice, I've done it 5 times, and Jerry's done it 5 times.
When I saw that, I thought it was just beautiful. That was just awesome, the way you all are with him.
Well, the key with him is we had to have levity. I don't know how much time we got, but I gotta tell you a fun story. Jared is able to talk and he is able to walk. Um, we're homeschooling now because he's having processing issues. It is a little tough for him. He normally would be in the 9th grade right now. By age, he should be in the 10th grade, but he was held back in the 1st grade because of reading problems. He's having trouble reading. And that may have been involved with that tumor back then, and we didn't know it.
That could be,
But,
yeah.
So he was having trouble, so we held him back 1 year. And so his reading, even now, is about a 3rd grade level. He doesn't read very well. And 15, that's kind of tough. We want to get him up a little higher than that. But all in all, back in the hospital, when he couldn't speak, couldn't say a word, just cry and laugh, we'd have a new nurse come on the floor and come into the room. And Jared, he still was, paralyzed on the left side, but he'd take his right finger and he'd point. And just imagine a kid laying in bed, holding his arm up and pointing. The nurse would look at me and she'd look where he's pointing, trying to figure out where he's pointing. She says, he's pointing to something, but I can't tell where he's pointing at. I said, oh no, he's not pointing. She says, well, what is it? I said, he wants you to pull his finger. She says, you're kidding me. I said, no, really, he wants you to pull his finger. Go ahead. Well, she'd pull his finger. He promptly would give her the sound that normally when you pull somebody's finger, what it does. And then he would laugh and cackle so loud they heard him all the way down to the nurse's desk. And they go, yep, you got another one.
That's too cute.
Plus, he's already kept his sense of humor and everything through it
Yeah.
all.
Yep. And like I said, he couldn't speak, but he got him. He got every new nurse that was on the floor got hit with that. So levity is the one thing that kept us going.
I wonder where he got all that from.
I have no clue. I'm so serious and calm-natured. I don't know where he gets it from. Must be in his
Okay.
mind.
Yeah, I think Rhonda would probably disagree with that.
We'll have to have her on the show one day and find out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'll tell you. Not to get Jared on the show one day. What's
Oh,
funny
yeah.
is Jared and I
There
do, we play off of each other all the time. We get people left and right. I think he thinks I'm a 16-year-old.
Oh.
I'm convinced. I'm his biggest play toy.
We'll just have to get all three of y'all in here. It'd be very interesting.
Oh boy, yeah, it would be. Although he tends to be shy when he's around people he doesn't know.
Right.
Oh,
But if he knows you, oh, he'll go.
that is so awesome.
But yeah, he's doing okay. We're gonna have issues for as long as he's alive. Imagine having radiation go all the way through your body. That's kind of tough. They do it all from the front. Now, why I have no clue. I'm like, you're radiating the spine. It seems like you would do it on the back,
Right.
but they don't. They radiate it from the front. And so all that radiation goes through every organ in your body.
How often will he have to have this done?
Radiation, he is done. He's not allowed to have any more radiation for the rest of his life. He said as much as his body can take for his whole entire life.
Wow.
No more radiation. Anything else would have to be done with chemo or proton and all these other cute little things that they can do now. But radiation he's done with. Now, once a year he has to have, in fact, we'll go again in June or July, I don't remember which right now. But he'll do his annual MRI where they're checking to make sure that nothing is there. And so they make sure there's no tumors anywhere. And it's still possible, but it's not likely. Once he passed the 5-year point, really once he passed the 2-year point, the chances of finding a tumor would be slim to none. And after 5 years, if anything's there, it's probably something that's new.
Right.
Not from the original tumor. But because of the radiation and chemo is basically poison they're putting in you to try and kill the cancer.
Right.
And they put it as high as they can to keep from killing you, but killing cancer. They take you to the point of death and without killing you. And that's what chemo is more than anything else. Um, from that point of view, he's susceptible to kidney disease, kidney tumors, bladder tumors, um, stomach tumors, lung tumors, lesions and that kind of stuff. He's susceptible to leukemia now, skin cancer, brain tumors caused by the treatment, not by anything else.
Right.
All these are lovely things that he's got to kind of keep an eye for pretty much the rest of his life.
So his immune system's really, really unstable right now, where he could get any of those at any time. Then.
It's not so much the immune system. Cancer develops. The easiest way to say what cancer is in a solid tumor type deal, it's a cell of the body that's supposed to split a normal way and decides to go rogue and split in an abnormal way, and that produces a cancerous cell. And then they start multiplying.
Right.
Leukemia is of the blood and of the bone marrow. So from that point of view, that's a whole nother ballgame. Various cancers are caused by various things, and basically what you're doing when you're doing chemo and radiation, you're just taking everybody has a certain percentage of possibility that you can get all this kind of stuff. Well, you take a kid that's already gone through this and multiply it times 3.
Wow.
Okay, so he's like 30 to 40% chance of likely that happening to him as it is happening to you. That sort of thing.
Right.
So that doesn't mean he will. Doesn't mean his immune system is any weaker. I mean, he doesn't get he almost never got sick while he was on chemo. He rarely gets sick now. He can get sick, but it's usually the common cold. He doesn't get very sick at all. He hasn't his entire life, so his immune system really is pretty good. Now, they took all that away from him during chemo.
Right.
They take you down to blood counts. Your white count is next to nothing at various stages of your chemotherapy. And but he's surviving pretty well overall, and I guess he probably will. But the things that happen to his brain is the biggest issues. His processing skills are slow. His executive function is extremely poor. For instance, you give him 5 things to do, he may remember 3. He'll remember 3, but you'll be lucky if he gets 2 of them done.
Right.
So you don't give him a thing of 5 things to do unless you write it down. And even if you write it down, you still may not get it.
Right. That's probably a teenage thing too.
I was going to say, not the selective hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do. It's kind of hard to say which is which.
Right.
Some of it's teenage, and some of it's cancer. Side effects, I guess. So
Right.
he's okay. He loves playing jokes on people. He still tries to scare me. I can scare him anytime. And he can't hardly ever get me, but the very few times he does, he just thinks that's the greatest thing in the world that he can scare Dad.
For him.
Scared the zombie man, huh?
Dad
Oh,
never
so
gets
sad.
scared. He can surprise me, but he'll try and jump out at me, from something, and I just don't get scared. But he can be standing there, we'll be talking, I'll go, and he will jump back, sometimes he'll scream, and it's funny. He said, Dad, don't do that.
Tell us about the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation and the Ride for Kids.
Okay. Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation is a national organization for kids that have brain tumors. And there are a lot of brain tumors. It is amazing how many different kinds there are. And their primary goal is to try and help find a cure for all these various things, but at the same time, trying to help the families and all that they have to go through, because it is amazing You can fall through cracks so easy. Things you don't know. In fact, I'll give you for instance that happened to us when we were going through all the treatment. You can imagine the expense was unbelievable. Jared right now is our $1 million kid. That's about how much all of his treatment has cost up to this point. And with that, if you got good insurance, my wife works for the insurance company. Wonderful. That helps. But you got to remember, there's still that deductible that you got to meet.
Oh, yeah.
And there is an organization out there that if you apply to them if you're a family that's got a child that has cancer, you apply to them, they will pick up that deductibles, 20%, 10%, whatever it may be for all the drugs and this, that, and the other. One of his drugs was $1,500.
That's a lot.
Each month.
Oh,
so
wow, per month.
Oh, yeah, per month.
Oh, wow.
And so, that kind of thing. But they will pick up the deductible and as well, because you got to meet a certain amount. Like I think ours was $8,000. You had to go through $8,000 a year, and then after that it becomes 100%. Then a lot of stuff is, besides that, you got that 20% or 30% or 10%, depending on what it was, copay. And so they pick up the copay, they pick up the deductibles, and all that stuff. Well, nobody told us about that organization. And all the stuff we did, our social worker and all that, and we did not know that that's available as long as he was in treatment. So for roughly 2 years, we had that available to us, and we didn't know it. So I blew through our savings like crazy. We'd already lost my income because now I was staying with him 24/7.
Right.
Rhonda had, her 6 to 8 weeks or however long it was. I think it was 8 weeks is what she ended up taking off. But then she had to go back to work because she couldn't lose her job. That was our insurance. I had my own company as a broker. So our insurance went through her. And, although she was a nurse, the logical person to take care of him, she couldn't lose her job, so I was the one that did it. So I became very good at it. And but that meant that my income was gone. We had all these bills to pay. And so we blew through our savings so fast it made your head spin. But we griped at our social worker because nobody told us. He says, well, all you had to do was ask. Well, that infuriated me. I just got blown away from that. I said, we don't know what to ask.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. How can you ask about something if you don't know about it?
That's it. And that's something I tell everybody that I come in contact with that are just starting this role. I said, look, you got to ask questions. They're not going to just offer you this. And somebody said, well, it's in that package you got. I said, what package? He said, that big package you got the first week you were there. I said, do you know what we were going through the first week we were there?
Yeah.
We didn't know if our son was going to live or die. We didn't know what this meant to us. We didn't know. I already had to shut down my business. I had no clue. I was living minute to minute.
Right.
And you want me to sit down and read this big old pack of stuff? And they got lost in the shuffle when, we were at the hospital for months. And that packet didn't mean nothing to me.
Right.
So we didn't know. We had no clue. And so anyway, Brain Tumor Foundation, they were a big help because they, for instance, if we were a little short of money, needed for gas or to make a car payment or something like that, we could put in a request for assistance through them, and they bill here or there. We do what we could, but sometimes you just can't. And so they pick up a bill here and there, and they provide us with gas cards so we can get back and forth to the hospital. Because he was there all the time. I was there most of the time. Rhonda, when she went back to work, she'd drive from work to the hospital, stay there a few hours, and then go home. On the weekends, she'd come up and stay the whole weekend and in the beginning, we both would stay there for the weekend, and after a while, it seemed kind of redundant. That was my time
Right.
that I could take off. So she'd come in, stay the weekend. I go home, get laundry, or get a shower, a good shower, or just relax, and try and get my head around it, and then she'd take care of it. And but pediatric brain tumor, like I said, they're concentrated more on cure, but then helping the families in any way they can. Ride for Kids is an organization of mostly made up of bikers, motorcyclists around the country. They get together and do a ride to raise money for the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. And it's amazing. They come in, and you got every kind of bike you can imagine, man. It's the tri-wheelers, sidecars, some of the fanciest things. There's one that looks like the bat cycle.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they got all kinds of bikes, and they take the kids and let them ride, and they go about 50 miles around, just through the countryside and everything. It generally starts out in North Georgia or in north of Atlanta, so you're going through the foothills of the mountains. So some of it's really beautiful, and they just take them in. The ones in wheelchairs, they'll get them like in a sidecar or in the tri-wheelers. You got down like in a little bucket thing to where they can sit down in there and still enjoy it. Because very few of them are actually able to hold on, and that kind of stuff.
So they're really kid friendly and everything.
Oh, very much so. And it's not. It is amazing to see some of these big old burly bikers how polite and how mild they can be to these kids. Kids fall in love with them. So it's really something. And to see bikers with tattoos of a gold ribbon, which is the Brain Tumor Foundation, not one of them. Children with cancer is gold ribbon. Excuse me. And so to see a gold ribbon on his bike,
right,
or a gold ribbon on a tattoo, to where they do it year after year after year, and they're always the same. Right now we got two groups fighting over Jared. They both wanted to ride with him, so. It's really kind of fun. And of course they raise, they got to pay to be in the thing, but of course for them it's just one big old thing for the kids. And there was, I bet there were 300 bikers.
Oh, wow.
In the last one we ran. I mean, it stretched way back. And of course the ones up front, with the special bikes and stuff, they're the ones that take the kids. Excuse me.
Now, this can be found at the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation, and the Ride for Kids information can be found at www.curethekids.org.
Yes, that's Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. That's curethekids.org. The Ride for Kids has their own website. I hope you've got that.
Yes, I think it's www.curethekids.org/events/Ride for Kids.
Yeah, that will be. I don't know if that carries the whole nationwide. I'll be honest, I don't know.
Okay. I think we lost Dolly.
Yeah, I think she had a problem.
Yes, she did. She told me to make sure to tell you goodbye, and that she loved it and thanks again. And she said, make sure you do the zombie growl at the end.
What zombie growl? I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Before we sign off here, why don't you tell us about your conventions coming up and where people can find you?
Well, let's see if I can remember them all. I don't have many this year. Hang on 1 second. Give me 1 minute to clear my throat.
Sure can.
Okay. A little bit of water helped.
I bet it did. You probably
You know
can't
how it
cry
is.
right now.
when you're decaying, it gets stuck in your throat, you know.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're a zombie. Yep.
Let's see here. Let me get my calendar out. The first thing I'm going to be doing, well, this is April, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
April the 1st.
Um, well, on a sad note, Saturday we are going to a celebration of life for one of the little ones that didn't make it from leukemia.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My
Yeah,
condolences.
we will be going to his memorial service this weekend, and that goes with the territory, unfortunately.
Thoughts and prayers will be with you. I'm getting a dry throat too.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. Now, the 23rd, I will be at Dalton Comic Con in Dalton, Georgia, and let's see if I got a. Of course, I don't have a website for it. Duh. If you just go Dalton, Dalton Comic Con, it's just a one-day event. It's from roughly 10 to 5, 10 to 6, um, in Dalton, and be there having a good time. I always have a good time wherever I'm at.
I know when
And
I met you at Seymour, and I think
yeah,
that was I want to say July 2011 in Seymour, Indiana.
yeah, it was a paranormal convention, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a paranormal convention. You had your booth across from ours. You and Sonia did.
Yeah, and she was walking around trying to find a ghost. That was kind of funny, but
Yes,
it
it
was a
was.
lot of fun. A lot of
It
fun.
really was. It really was.
Then in June, I'm going to be at a convention in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee called MagmaCon, and you can look that up under their website, MAGMA, MagmaCon. And
That's down around Dolly's territory.
oh yeah, that's in Pigeon Forge, and it'll be the 11th and 12th. I'm really looking forward to that. We go to a lot of conventions up there in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg area, and this one is a new one I haven't been to then. The people that put this on also do YamaCon, which is in December, which is fun but cold.
I bet.
So it'll be nice to come there in June. I'm looking forward to that one. And these are confirmed ones. We got some that I haven't confirmed yet, so until they're confirmed, I don't count them. I'll be in Florence, South Carolina, in September. September the 11th at a convention called Florence Comic Con. It's a one-day event. My dog is scratching to get in again.
Aw.
And right this minute, that's all I really have confirmed. There'll be more, I'm sure, but I'm trying to limit it and not do as many as I used to. I used to do like 20, 22 a year. And it
It's
seemed like
overwhelming.
every year, it gets tiring. It really does. Because you're gone every weekend. And that's half a year of weekends, It's like, shoot, I don't want to be gone that much.
Yeah.
I love my fans, but I love my family too.
Exactly. You got to balance the two.
Yeah. So we get around, and somebody tells me I'm going to be at a something up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. You might have a little knowledge about that one.
That would be the stigma ride for suicide and depression awareness. And it's going to be at Fort Wayne, Indiana on the 26th of June. And we're hoping to have a big crowd. It's a ride with motorcycles, and we're going to have some booths up there. And
25th of June. 25th. Of June.
I said the 26th, didn't I? The 25th. You're right.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, we're looking forward to getting a lot of word out there and raising some money for this very, very. The stigma just needs to be. It just needs to be silenced. It really does, because nobody wants to talk about it, and we need to get the word out there to help people.
Well, and as I was telling Dolly, and I'm sorry that she had a problem and had to sign off. I was telling Dolly I had a 14-year-old nephew, my wife's brother's child, that was extremely overweight due to physical problems, medical problem, and he was pretty much overweight. He was teased and bullied unmercifully for most of his life. And at 14, he couldn't take it anymore, and he killed himself.
Oh no.
Took a shotgun and went home, went up in his room, and that was it. And he got his mom's shotgun or whatever. Anyhow, but he took his own life. So bullying is a big issue.
Yeah, it really is.
Suicide's a big issue, and it's sad. It happens, and it affects so many more people than just the immediate family. Just like a child with cancer, it affects so many more people.
It does. It's a domino effect.
And the domino effect spills out in so many directions. And there's so many people that don't understand, that need to be educated about it. And there's so many issues that are real important. So the stigma ride is a very important thing that y'all are doing up there. I'm very happy to see it.
That's always been an important part of, ever since Robin Williams lost his life, we started a depression page called DESA, and it's trying to raise awareness for people so they can get help and have someone to talk to and get the word out there. So this ride means a lot to get the word out there to help people like this.
Well, let's hope that this webisode and your web pages and various things that you all are doing. It's fun to talk about being in movies and being in TV shows and all that kind of stuff, but it's so minor compared to all these other issues.
Yep, it really is.
The other issues are where it's really important, and people need to know that other people care.
Exactly. And thanks to people like you, they do know that.
Well, if it doesn't touch you directly, trust me, it touches you indirectly in ways you don't even begin to understand.
Exactly.
So, if you just don't be afraid. We're not afraid to talk about it. I'll talk about my nephew. I'll talk about my son. My wife's a breast cancer survivor.
Oh, really?
She's had two heart attacks. I've had one.
Wow, y'all really been through it.
Surprise, surprise.
Wow.
And on top of that, Jared's adopted.
Wow.
So, like you said, I have two older children from a previous marriage, and Rhonda, when we got married, she couldn't have any, and it was like through a medical problem, she couldn't have any when she wanted some, and so I got talked into having one more. I said, I've already raised my two. I don't want to do it again. And my best friend said, when we got it, I had two best friends. One of my best friends calls and says, we have an employee that wants to give up their child for adoption. Are you interested? And my best friend that lived close, that happened to be there that night, said, just say yes. I said, but Mickey, he said, just say yes. He said, otherwise we'll be up sitting here all night talking back and forth, and the end result, you're going to say yes anyway. So save the time. Just say yes. So reluctantly, I said yes. And I've never been closer to another human being in my life.
Wow.
Than I am with Jared, because of what he's gone through and what I've had to go through in order to help him. We're tied at the hip, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me, and the worst thing that anybody ever told me or asked me. And I've only ever wanted to kill one person, just about, and this was it. They said, well, since he's adopted, if you knew this was going to happen, would you have said no? I'm sure you wouldn't have adopted him. I looked at them and I said, do you have kids? Yeah. I said, if you knew that they were going to have a brain tumor when they were born, would you have aborted them? Oh, no, I don't believe in abortion. I said, well, then don't ask such a stupid question.
Exactly.
It's the luck of the draw, my friend. You have no clue. God gives children to those that deserve it,
Exactly.
and those that can handle them. I said, apparently God felt that we were strong enough to be able to handle the issues that we're having to deal with. And so we do. How do you do it? One day at a time.
That's all you can do. And it sounds like you were
Yep.
very blessed.
Yeah, well, we've been blessed completely. I've got no qualms at all. Jared's an unusual human being. He is a terrific individual. Where do you meet him?
I can't wait to meet him. I really can't. And that'll
Yeah.
be soon.
Yep, very soon. I'm getting my legs ready for that long drive.
Oh, you'll make it. Get you on that bike and, yeah, stretch your
Oh,
legs.
yeah. Well, you're gonna have to wind this up here pretty soon, aren't you?
Yes, we are. It is. It has been awesome having you on here, Larry. We hope to have you back again. And if you want to find Larry, you can find him on his webpage at www.larrymainland.com, or you can find him on Facebook at Larry Mainland fan page.
Or Larry Mainland on Twitter, or Larry Mainland on Instagram.
There you go. Oh, I didn't have those.
There's
I'm so
a
sorry.
pattern here. Have you noticed the pattern here?
Oh, I'm getting brain dead. Obviously, there.
Yeah,
We thank you so much for being on the show with us.
my pleasure. My
And you
pleasure.
have a
You and
great-
Dolly take care.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
You've been listening to Corey and Dolly with Two Irish Gals with special guest Larry Mainland. You all have a wonderful evening and stay blessed, and we will catch you next week. Bye.